Princess Charlene of Monaco attends the opening ceremony of the 13th edition of the Saint Devote tournament in Vonbier. The King and Queen of Thailand begin their state visit to the Kingdom of Bhutan. The Crown Prince couple of Norway attends a Fossa lecture and prize ceremony in Oslo. And royals from around the world attend the funeral mass for the late His Holiness Pope Francis. All this and much more coming up next on your Royal Daily News. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are doing well today. My name is Alexandra, and welcome to your Royal Daily News for Saturday, April 26th, 2025. This morning, the funeral mass for the late His Holiness Pope Francis took place on St. Peter's Square in front of St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City. 250 cardinals, bishops, priests, nuns, thousands of the faithful, 170 foreign dignitaries, 55 heads of state, faith leaders from various religions, monarchs and royals from around the world attended the funeral mass, including Their Majesties, King Philippe and Queen Mathilde of the Belgians, Their Majesties, King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia of Spain, Their Royal Highnesses, Grand Duke Henri and Grand Duchess Maria Theresa of Luxembourg, Their Serene Highnesses, Prince Albert II and Princess Charlene of Monaco, His Serene Highness, Hereditary Prince Alois, and Her Royal Highness, Hereditary Princess Sophie of Liechtenstein, Their Majesties, King Abdullah II and Queen Rania of Jordan, His Highness, Crown Prince Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan of Abu Dhabi, His Majesty, King Letsie III of Lesotho, Her Majesty, Queen Mary of Denmark, Their Majesties, King Carl Gustaf and Queen Sylvia of Sweden, Their Royal Highnesses, Crown Prince Haakon and Crown Princess Mette-Marit of Norway, His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, the Grand Master of the Order of Malta, Fra John Dunlap, His Royal Highness, Prince Emanuele Filiberto of Savoy, and His Royal Highness, Prince Charles of Bourbon Two Sicilies, to name a few. During the funeral mass, there were readings from the Acts of the Apostles, the letter of St. Paul to the Pharisees, and the Gospel of John. In his homily, the Dean of the College of Cardinals, His Eminence, Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re, said, quote, "In this majestic St. Peter's Square, where Pope Francis celebrated the Eucharist so many times and presided over great gatherings over the past 12 years, we are gathered with sad hearts in prayer around his mortal remains. Yet we are sustained by a certainty of faith, which assures us that human existence does not end in the tomb, but in the Father's house, in a life of happiness that will know no end." Pope Francis always placed the gospel of mercy at the center, repeatedly emphasizing that God never tires of forgiving us. He always forgives, whatever the situation might be of the person who asks for forgiveness and returns to the right path. He called for the extraordinary Jubilee of Mercy in order to highlight that mercy is the heart of the gospel. Mercy and the joy of the gospel are two key words for Pope Francis. Pope Francis used to conclude his speeches and meetings by saying, "Do not forget to pray for me." Dear Pope Francis, we ask you now to pray for us. May you bless the Church, bless Rome, bless the whole world from heaven, as you did last Saturday from the balcony of this basilica in a final embrace with all the people of God, but also embrace humanity that seeks the truth with a sincere heart and holds high the torch of hope. End quote. After the funeral mass, the funeral procession made its way through the streets of Rome to the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major. According to Vatican News, upon arriving at the Liberian Basilica, quote, "The coffin was welcomed by the last ones, a group of poor and marginalized people who always had a special place in Pope Francis's heart. They gave the final tribute before the coffin was carried to the altar of St. Mary Major. The remains of the successor of Peter were laid in the tomb and sprinkled with holy water. End quote. This morning, Her Majesty Margareta, the custodian of the Crown of Romania, and His Royal Highness Prince Radu of Romania, planted a tree at Sovarsin Castle in memory of the late His Holiness Pope Francis. On Thursday, in Oslo, their Royal Highnesses, Crown Prince Haakon and Crown Princess Mette-Marit of Norway, attended the first edition of the Fossa Lecture at the Royal Palace. The Fossa Lecture and the Fossa Prize were established by the government of Norway in honor of the winner of the 2023 Nobel Prize for Literature, Jon Fosse. After a welcoming speech from the Crown Princess, there was a musical performance by Miss Anya Laudval. Thereafter, French-born philosopher Mr. Jean-Luc Marion gave their first lecture entitled Creation. This was followed by the Crown Princess presenting the first Fossa Prize for translators to Mr. Heinrich Schmidt-Henkel. According to a press release, Mr. Schmidt-Henkel has translated many Norwegian works into German, including works by Fossa. He received the prize for his ability to, quote, recreate the linguistic richness of Nynorsk and Bokmål into German, and for his good work in promoting Norwegian literature and drama abroad. End quote. In Stockholm, Her Royal Highness, Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden, presided over the presentation of the Vega Medal at the Royal Palace. According to the Royal Court of Sweden, the Vega Medal, established in 1880 by the Swedish Society for Anthropology and Geography, is awarded to an individual who has, quote, promoted geographical research in an outstanding manner. End quote. The winner of the Vega Medal went to Professor Marisol de la Cadena from UC Davis. Professor de la Cadena received the medal for her, quote, pioneering contributions to anthropology, primarily studies of how indigenous knowledge and approaches challenge Western perceptions of the relationship between nature and culture. End quote. On Thursday, Her Majesty, Queen Mary of Denmark, attended the conference entitled Detecting Violence in the Family at the IDA Conference in Copenhagen. On Friday, in Thimphu, Their Majesties, King Rama X and Queen Sethada of Thailand, began their 4-day state visit to the Kingdom of Bhutan at the invitation of His Majesty King Jimny Khesar Wangchuck of Bhutan. This is the first overseas visit since the king acceded to the throne. The purpose of the state visit is to strengthen economic cooperation and enhance bilateral relations between the two kingdoms. The Kingdom of Thailand and the Kingdom of Bhutan, which established diplomatic relations in 1989, share a close and friendly relationship, founded on, quote, common cultural ties, a mutual faith in Buddhism, and long-standing connections between the royal families and peoples. End quote. Upon their arrival at Paro Airport, Their Majesties were warmly welcomed by Their Majesties King Jimny Khesar Wangchuck and Queen Jetson of Bhutan. As Their Majesties drove from Paro to the city center of Thimphu, the streets were lined with people waving Thai and Bhutanese flags and offering flowers, while cultural performances were held along the road in honor of the King and Queen of Thailand. Upon their arrival in Thimphu, Their Majesties met with extended members of the royal family of Bhutan and members of the government. Thereafter, Their Majesties and the King and Queen of Bhutan attended an official welcoming ceremony in the courtyard of the Tashicho Zong. The ceremony included the playing of the national anthems, the inspection of the guards of honor, and the introduction of dignitaries. This was followed by a private meeting between the two kings and queens. In the evening, King Jimne Khesar Wangchuck and Queen Jetson of Bhutan hosted a gala state banquet at Chichenkoling Palace in honor of their Majesty's state visit to the Kingdom of Bhutan. On Friday, in Fontvieille, Her Serene Highness, Princess Charlene of Monaco, as president of the Monegasque Rugby Federation, accompanied by her brother, Mr. Gareth Whitstock, attended the opening of the 13th edition of the Saint Devote tournament at the Stade Louis II. Organized by the Princess Charlene of Monaco Foundation with the support of the Monegasque Federation of Rugby, the Saint Devote tournament gathers, quote, young players under 12 from all over the world to celebrate rugby at its best. Commitment, team spirit, and inclusion. End quote. On Thursday, in Fontvieille, the Princess and Mr. Whitstock participated in the annual Water Safety Day workshops at the Stade Louis II Aquatic Center. The workshops are organized several times a year by the Princess Charlene of Monaco Foundation under the supervision of Monegasque freediver and the ambassador of the Princess Charlene of Monaco Foundation, Mr. Pierre Fourla, and his team from the Académie Monégasque de la Mer, with support from the Croix-Rouge Monégasque. This year, 108 children from 9 international U12 rugby teams who are competing in the 13th edition of the Saint Devote tournament participated in various life-saving workshops, which included CPR, drowning prevention and rescue, and basic first aid. These workshops allow the children to learn first aid procedures and the basics of water safety in a fun way. There are also games, including water polo, relay races, and much more. On Thursday evening, Her Serene Highness, Princess Stephanie of Monaco, and Miss Camille Godleb attended the opening of the second edition of Expositive at the Camille Art Gallery. An initiative of Fight AIDS Monaco, Expositive showcases artworks by artists living with HIV. The exhibition will be open to the public until May 12th at the Camille Art Gallery, which is in Larboto. In Luxembourg City, His Royal Highness, Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume of Luxembourg, hosted a reception at the Palais Grand Ducal for athletes representing Team Luxembourg during the 2025 Special Olympics World Winter Games in Turin, Italy. The Hereditary Grand Duke is patron of the Special Olympics. And there you have it. Thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. I will be back tomorrow on Sunday, April 27th, with all the latest royal news and events, including a complete wrap-up of the royal family of the Netherlands attending the King's Day celebrations in Doetinchem. So, I hope you all will join me on Sunday. Until then, have a wonderful afternoon, everyone, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care and God bless.